Good afternoon. My name is Charles Young,
I'm Doug Woodard, Woodard.
and we're here at Fort Concho in San Angelo, Texas, and we're here for a Black Heritage program and referencing the San Angelo NAACP Buffalo Soldier Project.
Yes.
And what we'd like to share with you, well, first, I'll go first, and I'll share with you how I initially got involved in Buffalo Soldier information or presentations. Some years ago, I went to an event in California and met a gentleman by the name of Madison Walker, who is now deceased, unfortunately. And at that time, I was like a lot of people, uninformed about Black cowboys,
Yes.
Buffalo Soldiers, and
Yes.
things of that nature. And meeting Madison Walker and traveling to Arizona, I was living in California at the time. He enlightened me to a bunch of Black lawmen that served in the West, and also introduced me into more things that the Buffalo Soldiers did. And I was like, Buffalo Soldiers?
What is a Buffalo
Soldier? Right. And so at the time, my job allowed me to get books, which I got a copious amount of books and started reading about the Buffalo Soldiers. And the journey has been monumental, and now being involved with the project here with Miss Shirley Spears has been an enlightening and just outstanding journey for me.
This journey has been, in my mind, unique. Coming out of New York, I had no clue as to what a Buffalo Soldier was or what he was. But coming down to Arizona and going and joining my church and learning a little bit about the history of the Buffalo Soldiers, I've come to understand that they were a part of American history. And in meeting up with my friend here, Charles Young, he opened the door to me to a variety of information, which is I could not just deliver. But when we met Shirley and got involved with her project, that was an upstart in my understanding of how infinite it has to be for Buffalo Soldiers to tell a whole and true story of how they actually began.
Yes, and actually, when you look at the history, and as people have said, it's not a matter of, in our opinion, of Black or African American history. It's United States of America history, because a lot of people don't realize that the Buffalo Soldiers were the first border patrol.
Yes.
They were the first park rangers.
Yes.
And Woody and I've been doing it for approximately 20 plus years. I've sort of lost count of it. And Woody, you've been doing it for how many years?
20, maybe 19, 20 years, yes.
And every day, I won't say every day, but every time we go to an event, or we always learn something new that somebody else shares with us that maybe we didn't know. Then of course you have to be very aware that a lot of times when you go out, especially on the internet, you'll go out and you'll find information and it's not necessarily true. A good point in question is one time I was on the internet looking at something, and it said the Buffalo Soldiers performed very valiantly in the Civil War.
Oh gosh, yes.
And unfortunately, that is not a true statement, because the United States colored troops were in the Civil War, and the Buffalo Soldiers served in the early Indian Wars, as they call them, and that was one of the primary reasons for being started up, because at that time the United States did not have a military. It was purely volunteer. And then after the Civil War, all the soldiers went home, and there was a westward expansion where there was a lot of things going on here west as far as the Native Americans were concerned, and settlers, and so
there was no law out here.
Yeah, basically, yes, there was no law. And so that was the 39th Congress sort of said, hey, we need to do something. And thus they created at that time, it was two Black all cavalry units, the 9th and 10th Cavalry. And then at that time it was the 38th, 39th, 40th, and 41st, which were later consolidated into the 24th and 25th Infantry, which the last Buffalo Soldier unit served up until 1951. It was the last unit that served.
And there was a lot of prejudice during that time also. and realize that even today, there's still a lot of prejudice going on in the services. And it's hard to understand why it's still there. Have you kind of figured it out?
Well,
I
think basically it's just like considering back in during the time of the Buffalo Soldiers, they didn't think that we were qualified because when they initially
we are.
Yeah, and we're qualified for that, but I think as time went on, you even look at the graduates from West Point. There was only, Henry Flipper was the first one, and then the other two after that. And they didn't. And Henry Flipper graduated in 1877, and it wasn't until some 10 years later that the other two graduated. And like for me, being involved with this project here with Miss Shirley Spears and the San Angelo Buffalo Memorial is that we've been somewhat involved in other groups that have quote unquote working a Buffalo Soldier Memorial, and unfortunately they sort of fell by the wayside. So when we first met Miss Shirley, we came over to Fort Concho 3-4 years ago. And we met her, and she mentioned what she had. So, what's this lady? Okay, here she goes.
Fell in love with her.
Well, not at first. I had my good eye on it. I had my good eye on it. And listen to what she said. And anybody that knows Miss Spears and talks to her knows she's not about no shenanigans.
Exactly.
And so I said, okay, listen. I mean, Woodard and I talked. I said, no, she seems like she's
something.
she's serious as a heart attack. And then as we saw, as the project progress, and we saw that okay, she's going to take it from the start to the finish, no matter what. And sometimes I don't know how she has the energy, because with me, I would have just said, okay, I'd have had to get somebody else. But she has the energy, she has the drive, and it will end up going to the finish line.
But it's important that she had the right people at the right time to make this project go forward. And what you think that is gonna make a difference in this?
I think what it is, I think as things go on, hopefully as things like this come to be, more and more people will become aware. Because like when I was in school, as well as yourself, most of us, we never heard anything about Buffalo Soldier. And I remember my grandfather telling me something about my great grandfather, but he never explained that that he was a Buffalo Soldier and what it was about. And I'm sure there was a lot of African Americans in the United States that a lot of their ancestors were Buffalo Soldiers, because at that time, once they were emancipated from slavery, that was really only line of work that was really available to them, because a lot of them couldn't read or write. And so that became a means of gainful employment. So I think a lot of them pursued it. And I've talked to people, a lot of people, like I said, they just didn't talk about it. I know my great grandfather, the situation he was in, but they said he never really talked about it. It was just the way it was, unfortunately, during that time period, and they accepted it, and they still made the best of it was a bad situation that they were presented with, and they went on to serve and serve our country honorably,
But this project here in San Angelo is going to be, I think it's going to help a lot for the community, because the community there's Fort Concho here, and the community is just now understanding about the Buffalo Soldier.
Embracing it,
because of course Flipper was here, and that's going to make a difference. But I feel so warm that this project is really gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's gonna happen. No doubt. If it doesn't, I hate to be on the receiving end of Miss Shirley's wrath. If it doesn't happen, like I said, I feel sorry for the individuals that don't step up. I feel sorry. They have my blessing, because
but it's the time and the effort.
So anyway, like I said, we're just glad to be a part of it. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of it. And for those that plan on attending, we'll see you in July the 28th, 29th, and the 30th.
Yes.
And you have a great day.
Thank you.